Been a while, eh?
Yeah, well, hey, actually, it hasn't been a while. It's like the quickest turnaround, so far.
Yeah, it actually is. 10 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, man, that's pretty crazy. To be able to go to war like that and then just hop back into camp and get ready for this fight. But hey, do you feel like since it is at home, the next fight you can do
Yeah.
that? Because would you have taken the fight if it was, let's say, in Europe or in North America?
Uh, it was something I couldn't miss out on. It's
Mm.
yeah, injured or not, I would have taken this fight. But I didn't have any injuries after that last fight. It was all just bruising, superficial stuff. So, um, no, we're good. I'm ready to go. I could go this week. So excited, man. My hometown, my friends and family all coming. So no, it's gonna be awesome.
All right. Before we get into the fight coming up in Auckland, I want to
Yeah,
jump back to your last fight, UFC 245, Brendan Moreno. This was a fight for contendership, man. It's a very important fight for both of you guys. You guys went in there, stood toe to toe, went at it. I don't believe there was any takedown attempts, man. Was that part of the game plan? Don't go for takedowns, don't wrestle. Let's just go bang it out.
Um, there wasn't a takedown game plan per se, but when I was getting hit and we're in the exchanging, I feel like it was a mutual agreement for both of us not to take it to the ground. We're just like, let's just settle this on the feet. So once we started landing and I thought I definitely took the first round with a few knockdowns, and then he adjusted well in that second round. So the third round was kind of the decider.
Mm.
Um, both landing hard punches. He was coming a bit more forward than I was, so I think the judges were scoring his ring control and aggression, but I feel like I was landing cleaner shots. He kept kicking my left side, so also my right side with his left kick. So it's something that I should have adjusted. Maybe I should have gone for a takedown just to kind of solidify the round. But it was so close. So I would love to run it back this year. I know he's fighting number three for Miga. Um, so we'll see what happens, but in the next few months. But I would love to run it back. Hopefully, in this side of the world as well.
Like you said, the first round you had the cleaner shots. It seemed like the more powerful shots you landed on Moreno. The second round, those kicks came into play, but
Yeah,
there was a lot of the kicks. Do you feel like you blocked those kicks and just the sound of the kicks, it kind of got into the judges' heads?
yeah. Well, they weren't really. They were landing on my guard, but they weren't. I guess impacting my game plan too much. But they were hinting my me coming forward, and then I was watching off the commentary, and Joe Rogan was saying, um, these are scoring quite high, and then it's just one of those things. I should have made the adjustments, but when you're getting hit and you're in the line of fire, your thought process gets a bit cloudy, and your reaction times are a bit off. So one or two things that could have gone my way, the fight would have been a lot different. So we can take positives away from it. I've already corrected those holes that we made in that fight. But even Joe Rogan said, I'd pay money to watch these guys any day. So it just goes to show that I'm right there with the contenders of this division. So um, going forward into this next fight for UFC Auckland on February 23rd, I haven't really had too much time off. I haven't been dwelling on this loss. I've just kind of been staying in the gym and surrounding myself with all the guys that are getting ready for their fights. So it's been a good transition because there's been no halt in the lead up. It's just kind of been straight into this next camp. So I feel ready. I'm motivated. You can't get much motivated uh, fighting in your hometown. So even when you are tired, you are depleted. You realize you haven't had a break in a while. You just picture your friends and family being at this fight and how much it means to me. So that's all the motivation I need. So I can't wait to get in there.
Yeah, you said you taking the positives. You're not dwelling on the fight. You're moving forward. This is a very quick turnaround, like we mentioned earlier in the interview. A little over 2 months. You said
Yeah.
the damage was superficial. How long did you take off? before you got back into the training and sparring and the contact?
So I took a week off. It was Christmas time as well, so I went and saw my mum and the rest of my family that live about 5 hours away from my hometown in Auckland. So they live down in Hawke's Bay. So it was good. It was a good time for me to kind of just let my body rest, and also refuel and refresh mentally, just being with my loved ones and my friends and family, and then coming back into training, not having lost too much. You don't really lose too much fitness in a week, so my weight didn't have time to blow up, but I could still enjoy it as well. So yeah, we feel good coming into this camp because there's been no you haven't had to get fit. You're just kind of carrying on where you left off for that last camp. So straight away, backstage after that fight, me and Eugene were working on things that I was doing wrong, just making my defense a bit more tighter, and adjusting when plan A isn't going to plan. So I feel confident coming into this fight. Tyson Nam, he's had a lot of fights, very experienced, but having it in my hometown and just the occasion of a fight, I feel like that's going to make me rise to the occasion. And you're going to have to kill me for this one to get me out.
Other than fighting in your hometown and fighting from your family and friends and those advantages you have, what other reasons are there that this is a dream come true for you, fighting in Auckland?
So I was in the front row seats the last time the UFC came. That was back in 2016. I was campaigning for that card. If you've been following my journey, I'd fought 3 times in 7 weeks. Yeah, just to try have my best shot at getting on that card. So I was coming off a 3-fight win streak, all by finishes, but it was a little bit too late, so I missed out. So I was just being there and soaking up that atmosphere and actually being ringside, watching Dan get a knockout over Ross Pearson, watching Mark Hunt fight Derek Lewis. I was just picturing and visualizing what it'd be like if I fought here. And when Dan brought me up in his post-fight speech, he said, "Who wants to see Kai fight in Auckland in the UFC?" And I got a good reception, and I remember everyone, asking, "Why aren't you on this?" Or "I really want to watch you fight." So when they did announce they were coming back, and I just had a fight booked, I knew I had to be on this card. So now it's finally happened. It's only 3 weeks away. I've got an opponent. I'm feeling, the best and the sharpest I've ever been. Just motivation at a full-time high right now. So it's going to be something that it's been on my bucket list since I've started the sport. The fight in my hometown at Spark Arena, that's only 5 minutes around away from my house, that stadium. And then 3 of us on the card from CKB, me, Dan, and Brad Riddell. But that fight week, we've got 7 other guys on an internal card. It's an Australian promotion. They're fighting in Auckland the night before us. So we've got 10 guys fighting that weekend. So we've all been pushing through the holidays, through Christmas, through New Year's. So now it's just kind of that last little push, and then it's pretty much fight week. So we're ready to go. We're guns blazing right now at training. There's such a crazy, amazing atmosphere at the moment where everyone's just feeding off each other. And Izzy getting ready for his next fight against Romero, March 7th. So it's full force right now. Everyone's here. Junior Tuffer,
Justin
Tuffer. He's been doing his camp, finishing up his camp. At our gym, and he's off to Texas on the John Jones card. So it's been good having him here. He's brought over Glenn Sparv as one of his training partners. Frank Hickman is over here working with us, daily. Emilio, he's coming over to help out as well. And George will be here on fight week helping out, I think, Luma, that's fighting on the same card as us. So it's going to be cool to see all these guys that, I've been in this journey for a long time, that have been training in Thailand, and now they're coming over to New Zealand, and we've still got that connection. So it's awesome to still have relationships with these guys and seeing how well we've been doing, and it's awesome that we can all come up together.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know all of those guys. I've
Yeah,
interviewed all of them,
yeah,
and watching you guys progress, it's simultaneously. You know what I mean? Like everybody went on their journey in their own different path and all that stuff, and it's great to see the success that everybody's having. It's not just like one guy is having the success. It's just like
yeah.
everybody's having success, which is
Mm.
insane, to just watch from afar. And I'm pretty sure yourself, you're doing your thing, but you're also watching these other guys that you've grinded with like 5 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
more, and they're doing their thing in their own respective promotions.
That's what was kind of crazy for me when I was in Vegas on that last fight card. Alex fighting for a world title. We've been training since, before he was in the UFC on the same local scene. Peter Yan, I remember when he came into Tiger the first time, and I was like, who the hell is this little? Because he looks similar to me, so everyone called him the Russian Kai, because from behind we look similar. And there's always been this little beef that we've not beef, but like friendly competition. We just always wanted to one up each other. So we always used to spar, same size. So to see him do what he did against Uriah Faber just really solidified that, he needs to fight for the title. And then for me to be in Vegas as well, fighting one of the biggest cards of the year, close fight with one of the top contenders as well. It could have gone either way. It really kind of reassured me that I'm in the right place and I'm where I'm supposed to be. So it's kind of nice having all those years of visualizing where you wanted to be, but when it's happening and you're present in the moment, just to kind of soak it all in because you've definitely earned it. It's not something that you've fallen into, which a lot of guys, I guess, happens to them, and then they realize, and then they get a bit shook when the competition is too much to kind of deal with. But if you've prepared the right way and you've built yourself up the right way with the right team, then when you're in these big pressure fights and these big events, you're more than ready for it.
Your next opponent, Tyson Nam, he's 10 years older, he's taller, but you got the reach advantage. He's just as experienced as you. He's followed all around the world. Looking at his style of fighting, what do you see?
I know he likes to strike. Watched his last fight with Sergio Pettis, so it's a good. He does a few good things really really well. So we're definitely going to respect his strengths, but coming into this fight, I'm more focused on myself and what I can bring to the table rather than too much of what he's going to bring. Obviously, I leave all that stuff to Eugene and our other coaches to kind of break down. But yeah, for this fight, I'm bringing it to him. I'm also going to be mixing it up. I'm not just going to be a one-trick pony and try look for the knockout. I want to make it. I want to be patient, take my time, let him feel it out, and then kind of go from there. So yeah, if he comes out hard, or if he wants to set it up as well, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good matchup. He has fought everywhere in Russia and a lot in Asia. He's Hawaiian, so it's Battle of the Polynesians. So it's going to be a fun fight. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you feel like in the last fight, you kind of had tunnel vision, chasing after the brawl, and now you kind of made that adjustment going into this fight where you got A, B, C, D, all different plans, different, options, and that's more in your head as you fight?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not going to be too stubborn on trying to, I guess, hunt a finish or yeah, it's easier to say it now, but once you're in the heat of the moment, you're going to stick to what you know and if you watch my fights in the past, I don't mind trading and getting hit to give a hit. Obviously, it's not the smartest way of going about it, but I want to try to stay as technical and as strategic as I can. But I've just been being more well-rounded and working on holes. So I always want to adapt and keep learning. I don't want to just stay stagnant in my skill set. So I've been working on a few new things, trying to develop more as a martial artist, and just hungry right now. Coming off a loss. I haven't had a loss in 3 years. I was on an 8-fight win streak, so definitely something you don't take for granted winning. And it's just lit a fire underneath me, and I'm just motivated, and I've been just keeping my head down and working right through the holidays. You know, everyone's in New Zealand loves this time of the year because everyone's at the beach, everyone's being around their family and friends. But I know what I had to sacrifice, and that's just to stay committed to what I have to do, and I've been doing that. So yeah, we're in a good place, head's where it needs to be, and the body's on track. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
You're fighting at home. You have more fights in the octagon than Tyson. You experience better competition than Tyson. Do you see that as like clear advantages going into the fight, or do you think like once you step in there, those things don't matter anymore?
Yeah, obviously we've both got experience, but when you're in UFC, you just got to prepare that you're fighting the best in the world, and give the best version of yourself. So I feel like being in a familiar space where I know what's on the line, and I've got my whole country and my whole team behind me and watching for this fight, it's just going to help me rise to the occasion. And yeah, it's just one of those things when you can feel the energy in the stadium, you can harness that and use it to your advantage. So he's definitely going to feel that he's in hostile territory. I know there's going to be a lot of huckers performed, which is the native dance of my people. They used to do it before they used to go to war back in the day. You know, hundreds of years ago, when they're fighting over land, tribes would have a haka to intimidate each other, and then they would go to war to the death just to claim land or for whatever they were fighting over. So this is the modern day version of that. This is what I've come from. My ancestors have were doing, and I'm just following in their footsteps, and I'm channeling it through martial arts as my platform. So I'm kind of embodying all of that and using it as fuel to get this win, not just for myself, but for my country and for my people. So I'm excited because I've never fought in the UFC in Auckland in my hometown. I missed out in Melbourne as well. I was there ringside, so it's just different when you're fighting on this side of the world, having all that support. It definitely makes a difference.
Coming up, UFC North Folk, the main event, the vacant flyweight title is on the line. It's a very big fight. It just shows you that the UFC is continuing with the flyweight division, because if they didn't put this title fight together, people will be talking like, hey, what are they doing with the flyweights? But it shows you that they're going to continue to, support the division. You got Benavidez taking on Figueiredo. Was that the fight to make you think? Do you feel like Benavidez should be fighting Figueiredo?
Yeah, well, it's convenient, and it's just worked out well because Figueiredo is coming off a win against Tim Elliott, guillotine in first round, and you can't deny Joseph Benavidez as a number one contender. So right now, it's definitely the fight to make. It's just a good time for the flyweights right now. On that last card last week, you had a flyweight win one of the bonuses. Eric Perez won it by it was like a shoulder choke, put the guy to sleep, which is pretty rare. So it's exciting. It's cool to see guys actually going out there and kind of taking it, not just trying to get this win. So it's a good time for our division right now. Tim Elliott had a war with that Askar. I forgot.
Askarov.
Askarov, yeah, that's his last name. That was a great fight. Tim Elliott out on his feet, and then Askar coming back, and Tim Elliott said he couldn't remember after the first round and stuck it in there, and they put on a great fight. So it's a great place to be right now in our division because every fight is fun. A lot of guys in this top 15, anyone can beat anyone, and one or two fight in a row, and you're back in the mix in title contention. So, for those high stakes on the line, you just got to give your best performance, and you just got to be better than your last fight, and always adapt, always get better. Which in most of my performances, you can see definitely growth in my game and my composure, and through experience, just getting better at dealing with adversity and rising to the occasion. So yeah, coming into this next fight, watching Figueroa and Joseph Benavidez, watching their fight, I'll definitely be watching it closely because definitely future competition. I feel like Joseph Benavidez is going to be too crafty for Figueiredo. You know, he is good at what he does. He hits hard. He's got a good ground game. He's aggressive. But I feel like he's going to walk into a trap against Joseph Benavidez, and that's going to be the difference. So I'm excited though. I saw Henry's got another fight coming up. I don't know who. He's just kind of teasing at the moment, saying welcome back to the MMA world. So it's be interesting to see who he's got. Maybe Aldo, maybe Peter Yan. I know he's been trying to fight everyone at every weight class. So let's see what he does.
All right, one last thing, before I let you go, I wanted to get your thoughts on the definition of success in mixed martial arts, in combat sports. Do you feel like it's the money? Do you feel like it's belts, or is it legacy? What is your definition of success?
Um, well, it could be a combination of all three, but for me, success isn't all the material things. It isn't the belt. It isn't financial stability. It isn't your legacy. It's just the journey that you're on, which is, you got to remember what you've come from and who's looking up to you. And for me, I know a lot of people that want to be in my footsteps and want to follow the blueprint that I've been doing with the sport. And it's a massive tool for, especially for young people, to get involved with and to get them through whatever they've got going on in their life. So for me, if I can help someone out on their journey, inspire or just kind of motivate them to do what they want to do in their life, doesn't need to be in fighting. It can be in any aspect of life. Then that for me, that's success. So I'm blessed to be in the position that I am now. I've worked hard for it, but I know that there's a lot more work to be done. I don't want to ever just be comfortable with what I have. I always want to be ambitious, striving towards the next goal. And that stems down from my team and from my coaches and my mentors that keep me striving to be the best person I can be and keep me kind of on track of what's to come. So, look at the guys that we train with on a daily basis, Alex, Dan, Izzy, they're never complacent of what they have. They have the belt on them for 2 weeks and then they put it away and, they start fresh. So that's just a great mentality to have. You're never satisfied. So you never stop learning and you never stop growing as a person. So, it's a great people to have around you. And it's the environment that you're around that will eventually rub off on you. So it's the people you're hanging out with, the people that you're socializing with, and seeing daily is what you're eventually going to become. So I try to surround myself with the right people and have positive influences and just kind of have an open mindset of not looking at the bigger picture, just kind of taking it day by day. That's what I've been big on most of my career, is just not seeing how far I've got to go, just kind of taking it as it comes. And easier said than done. And that's how you can stay present in the moment. That's how you can stay grounded and not overthink things. When we were talking a year ago, we were talking about how the flyweight division is going to be eventually diminished, but it's still here and it's still strong. And now we've got a title fight. So these things you just got to focus on and not let things out of control impact on the way you take on things and the way you perform. It's just stick to yourself and stick to what's been working. So sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, that's what I feel like is success.
February 23rd, man, you're back in the cage, back in the octagon. UFC on ESPN plus 26, Auckland, New Zealand, your hometown. Kai, you're facing Tyson Nam. It's the start of a new journey in a way for you. And it's good to see, man, that your mind state is, it's not deterred from, the decision loss. And we'll see what happens, man, this year.
2020 is going to be a massive year, not just for myself, but for you as well, bro. Hopefully good things to come your way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.